Hello everybody, thank you for watching this video, the second to help you with your child and their reading journey at home.
First of all, we want to say a huge thank you for all of the work and support you've given your children at home already. We are totally impressed across the board at how all of the children have taken to the reading, how well they're coming on learning their sounds, and also how enthusiastic they are about reading in general. A big thank you as well to those people who've continued using the book box so that we have got that continuous use of books being going home to be read at home.
And donated new ones for us.
Today we are going to go through some of the things that you can do to help your child at home. So what's included in their homework pack, how you can support their learning using those things at home, and also additional things that you can do to help outside of the typical homework. First of all, we went over these at our previous meeting, but we'll just recap again. The thinky pink words. So as you can see in the picture, thinky pink words are the little pink cards which your children now all have the first 6 set 1 of those attached to their green homework jotters. We will, once the children are absolutely confident and know those 6 words and are able to read them from sight and sometimes have a go at writing them, we'll build on that and give them more thinky pink words home. These are words that cannot be sounded out. They have to be learnt by sight, so your child should be able to look at them and read them. They should also be able to recognise them so that when they see the thinky pink word written out of context, that they don't try to sound it out, they recognise it's a thinky pink word and are able to say it. Along with the words on the string inside your green jotter, there's also a list of actions to go with each word. These should be used as prompts, so if you're practicing the words at home with your child, you can show them a card. If they're not quite sure, you can do the action. So for example, the action for my is you put your hand on your chest, down, and do the tail of the Y, so it's my. You can use that as a prompt to help your child remember.
We'll use it in school to help them with their spelling as well.
What you can do with the words is you can just use them as flashcards and go through them and ask your child to do them. If you're using it that way, try and jumble them up and put them in a different order each time you do it. You could lay them on the table and ask your child to point to the one you say, and different ways just to get them engaged in practicing. We will also be sending home word lists. You can see an example of our first list here. These are lists of words that we ask your child to sound out and then blend to read them. So this is really focusing, moving on from learning the individual single sounds to putting those together to blend to make words. So once we are confident that your child knows all of their single sounds, we will then send home word lists in their jotters. What we ask you to do is ask your child to sound out, so t, in, tin, and have a go at reading them. They may need initially to sound it out more than once. We also, here it says sticky sounds, so we don't want your child to go t, That's not going to help them be able to blend. So it's the idea that each sound sticks to the next t, in, so that they are then able to flow and blend the word a lot easier. Once they're confident with these words, you can ask them to sound out silently, so ask them to pop there and whisper the sounds, so whisper t, then say tin, just that extra step once they're confident with reading. You can also do things like practice writing them, put the words into sentences, just to make it a little bit more exciting than reading the plain word list.
Many children need reminding that they've got a voice in their head that they need to listen to when they're sounding out. So, going further with the sort of blending of words, that's what our focus is now, once we're confident with the single sounds, is blending and reading words, which will then move on to reading sentences. So here are some ideas of things you can do to help at home. So as we've already mentioned, reading, story reading, bedtime reading is one of the most valuable things that you can do with your child. It's also really great for your child to become more aware of different genres, things like that, and also to enhance their vocabulary. So as we said, the book box will still be there and will continue to be there on a daily basis at pick-up time, so you can swap over and rotate books. And you may notice that children can pick out words they recognise, the, is, and, in the sentences as you read them to the children.
Or you may run your finger under the sentence as you're reading and stop at a word you think your child should or could be able to read.
It's also good to ask questions around the book, so once you've read something, ask your child a question about what you have read, so that you can gauge whether they've understood what they've heard. Spelling words out loud, so this is something else that you can do in your daily life at home. You can do it at any time of the day. We need to go to the shop. We need to buy some cheese. And it's just breaking words down as you're speaking to your child just in everyday life, so that they are subconsciously in their head doing the oral blending.
You will find that some children, for a very short period of time, do this with absolutely every word they come across.
You can play a simple game of I Spy. So I Spy with my little eye, something beginning with chair. So you can use the initial sound, or you can also do it I Spy with my little eye, something with, and you can sound out a word. So the example I've put up here is cat. So it's just a different variation on that.
If they do something like ceiling and they say it starts with s, technically, as we're doing phonics, that is correct.
Let your child see reading and writing at home. So in your daily lives, writing, whether it's a shopping list you're doing, whether it's something you're reading, make that part of your daily life and your home life, and engage them in things you are doing. It will just make them a lot more aware of things. Every day in school we do a sentence, so that we are showing the children that we are writing, we're showing them it in a real life context, and including things like punctuation and grammar as well, full stops and finger spaces, just to make it real life as well as just an in-school thing. Get them to help with writing, so things like your shopping lists, they can have a go at writing, whether they physically write it or whether they just sound out the word and you write it. It's good to get them engaged with that too. And things like magnetic letters, if you have any of those at home, they're perfect for on the fridge. And we sometimes get bath letters, things like that. You can make words and build them at home.
Make sure though that they're lowercase rather than capitals, where possible.
Once your child is confident with their reading basic words, we will move on to the ditty sheets. We will do these daily in class, so each day your child will get a ditty sheet where they will follow the same routine as we do every day in our phonics, and they will continue to follow throughout, where we read sounds, then words, then sentences. This is recapping on the sounds they already know and building on those, blending them into words and then putting them into a context in a sentence with thinky pink words as well. At the end of each week, we will send home the set of 5 ditty sheets for you to practice at home with your child. Practice reading the same sounds, words, thinky pink words, then the sentences. You can also ask your child about what they've read, which is really helpful. And it's also, you can keep these as a store, you don't have to read them just the week you've got them. Go back and reread the ditty sheets so that they're familiarising themselves with all of them and practicing different ones.
The children will only get these when they are ready to read them. So if you haven't got them in your child's reading pack, don't worry. It's not because we haven't put it in there, it's they're just not ready yet at that stage.
Again, once they're ready, and this won't be all of them to begin with, and confident with all of their set 1 sounds, we will move on to set 2 sounds. These are the special friend sounds that we've spoken about previously, where 2 or more letters go together to make a new sound. So the first one in set 2 is A, spelled A-Y. You will get a new book, so unlike the green book, this one is a sort of yellow orangey colour, and we will mark which sounds your child has done. It would also be really helpful, so that we can see what you're doing at home, is if you continue to do the tick sheets that we've got given in homework packs for both the thinky pink words and the sounds. If you continue to date and tick which of the sounds and thinky pink words your child is getting correct at home. And I think that's us. So thank you very much for watching and listening. If you have any questions or any queries, please catch us at home time or send us an email.
Thank you.